All right, welcome back, everyone. Welcome back. So, I'm going to do a brief recap of where we are sitting at now, what we can expect going forward here with some bullish movement, and also I'm going to weigh in on the Elon comments that he's made about making payments on Twitter with Dogecoin. So, as always, I'm going to before I get started, I want to make sure I'm not crazy and speaking to myself. So, just let me know if you can hear me. I will place it in the chat as well, in case there's any audio issues. Good afternoon, everyone. But overall, I'm really liking what I see here with Doge and overall with the movement as well. So we're going to take a look here at the charts before I weigh in on the Elon comments. So technically speaking, what we are seeing here is we've broken above what is this, the 1723 mark. And so what we're looking at here is pretty much like a trend, pretty much a trend reset. So we're pretty much going to have to monitor this to see what we're going to, what type of trends we're going to set going forward. So this will give you a clearer view here. This is the downward trajectory we're on, pretty much setting higher lows. And we've broken above that here and even come above the 17.2 mark. And we really went all the way up to this red line here is our 200-day moving average, and we pretty much got rejected off of it. And we're building another green candle here, but we're bouncing off and pretty much using the purple line is our 72-day moving average. The yellow line is our 21-day, and we're pretty much using those as floors right now, which is fantastic. And pretty much so this pretty much is giving us the opportunity here in the short term to go up and start retesting some of these levels here, and hopefully we're able to break above it. The only thing now, the next marker that we're setting here, if we get a retest up here to the 200-day moving average, then this can, if we get rejected again, we can kind of call it a point of resistance. But technically speaking, we should start seeing, unless the shorts come in, we should start seeing some runs here up until the lower 20s. We're going to have to see how we respond to the 200-day moving average once we get closer to it. But technically speaking, we, especially with some of the catalysts and the buying pressure, we should be in the clear to run up and test some of those lower 20 ranges. But the issue there is, and what we're seeing here when we got rejected up the 200-day moving average, is typically this is when we've had our battle with shorts over the last, pretty much since December. What was this, December 14th? Every time we've come into this range, this has been our battle here with shorts. And that's why we have these really long wicks here, is because of the rejections that we got because of the how strong the shorts come in. So this is what we're going to have to watch going forward. But overall, as far as with Dogecoin's movement and what the response that we got when we pretty much had these shorts decline, very healthy for Dogecoin, very bullish for Dogecoin. That was something that we were looking for, if you follow my channel, was to see some more natural price movement from Doge if the shorts backed off. And that's exactly what we got. Short term, we've got confirmation. David literally put shorts in his video thumbnail. I thought it was funny. So, but technically, if you follow my channel, what we got was, I said that if we didn't have the short pressure of the shorts coming against the coin, we would get Dogecoin's a more natural rise out of Dogecoin. I do believe that Dogecoin would have consolidated with the market, but I just believe that we're in a period of over consolidation. I believe that the prices that we're seeing now are not an indicator where Dogecoin would like to rest if it weren't very strong negative pressure being placed against it. Even now, the shorts, it's not like the shorts are at zero, but they're not, spiking like what we see when we break in through the 20s and they're trying to kill that momentum. So this is giving us more natural movement. So I think that Doge historically, just going off of history, off of the rally, Doge liked to rest at around like 24, 25 cents before we start having further breakdown in the markets and before shorts got really aggressive. So my natural indicator would say, okay, well, this is one of the situations where the shorts are pretty much trying to prevent it from getting to that point, which is why they come in really strongly between like 20, 22 cents, and we start getting these really hard rejections. So over the next, I say next few weeks here, this is going to be really a test here to see where the point of resistance is going to be. We can't call it a trend just yet because we've only got one rejection off of the 200-day moving average. If we get rejected again, I guess we can kind of call it confirmation at that point and say, okay, well, this is going to be our point of resistance and not the 22 cents. But as of right now, that's still the next point of resistance here for us on the upward trend. Is going to be that 20 to 22 cents mark. We can't call that the 200-day moving average a resistance point just yet. So going forward, if you, again, this is short-term movement, we still have to consolidate, we still have to address the macros in the market. But overall, I'm loving these prices here. Even now, you can say, oh, it's elevated, or people want to get it sub 10 cents and stuff like that. I believe that Dogecoin has been overly suppressed. So even at these points, even if it's like 15, 15.6 and stuff like that, I believe these are still great prices. When we have the long-term issues and saying that, okay, well, what about utility? How are we going to grow the coin and stuff like that? Yes, having the partnerships with different businesses, the opportunity to use the coin, especially with Elon, where I titled in the video saying that, oh, we should use Dogecoin on Twitter and stuff like that. This is all bullish for Dogecoin. This is all great for Dogecoin. The more avenues that Dogecoin can operate in its function, the more utility the coin is going to have, and the more price action that you're going to see. The more positive price action that you're going to see. So this is really great. This is one of the things that, if you watch some of my older videos, I said that you need to have longevity in a coin, which is like vision and leadership is going to be one of the key points. And, we have that with Elon, and we see that continuously, whether that be in the show the other night or him simply saying that, okay, hey, maybe we should use, payment on Twitter and stuff like that. With Dogecoin, this is pretty much the coin being at the forefront of the movement, or being the go-to option when it says, okay, what form of payment would you like to use for a platform that you're investing in? He could have said Bitcoin. He could have said anything, and he said Doge. So this is one of the things that you have to have in leadership to go forward and have longevity in a coin. And I believe we have that with Elon. That is really great news overall for the coin and for the movement as well. Community, obviously, I believe we have the best community in crypto, and I think that that's been the basis of the crypto movement. I think it's been, of the Dogecoin movement. I think that's going to be our strength going forward as well. So I don't have any issues with that. And I think that going forward with the price movement that we're seeing here, with some of the catalysts that we have coming up, whether that be Doge One or a partnership with something like a McDonald's or Starbucks or something like that, payment for on Twitter, one of the largest social media sites, all of these things are going to add positive positive catalysts and stuff like that to Dogecoin, so that we're ultimately going to see higher prices. I'm very optimistic of the future here. I'm loving the price action that we're seeing with the coin. And I think that going forward here, I made a post, I think yesterday, saying that we shouldn't be focused so much on what the price of Dogecoin is going to be at the end of the year, but what we should be thinking about is what will the price of Dogecoin be 5 years from now. And I think that's very valid here, especially when we start seeing the case building going on around the coin and the catalyst, and pretty much just watching this coin evolve and grow before our eyes. So I think that short-term and long-term Doge is going to be fine. I'm going to take some questions here in the chat. So if you have anything, just put it in the chat. Let's see. I wonder when the Doge One mission is going to happen. We'll get confirmation. I'm sure it won't be like a last minute thing or something like that. I know it's a lot of dates floating around on the internet, but I know we'll have confirmation and have plenty of time before that. And I know also, based off of the movement here, unless shorts came in like really crazy, we're going to see positive price action on that as well. Any price under 20 cents is good. I agree. I like that. I know you're long term, but you care more about the coin count than anything. But was curious, were you still buying at these 14, 15 cent levels, or are you waiting for it to drop back to 11 or lower? No, I buy a little. So it's not that I don't buy, it's just the amount that I buy. I buy a little bit. As long as we're in the teens below like 19 cents, I'll buy a little every week. Anything above, I mean, especially if you drop below 10, because honestly, I was kind of hoping it did. I was going to be really a lot more aggressive because most of my coins were purchased at around like 5 cents. So it's not necessarily, you're right. I'm more so concerned with coin count because it doesn't really matter where I buy at this point. I'm technically going to average up, but it's more so the amount that I'm buying. But just like I tell everyone in here, what I suggest is, if you believe that we have the possibility of having further breakdowns in the coin, save some money, set some money aside, but always, coin count matters the most for longevity. So always kind of participate in the market. But just in case we get that breakdown, that negative catalyst, whatever the case may be, you're able to jump in and get a lot for your money. So yeah, if we get the breakdown and we go, sub 11 cents, obviously I'll be more aggressive, but always buying a little. So hope that answers your question. I'd almost bet more than 80% of people in the coin now will not have positions as they blow the load early. Yeah, I was actually in my Twitter post the other day. I actually deleted it, and I didn't post it when I said that you should be asking yourself what Dogecoin should be in 5 years. And actually, the point that I made that I took out of the post was, I said that a lot of people would say that if they had the opportunity to be in Bitcoin, they would have held till current prices. And we know that's not the case, right? So if you bought Bitcoin at sub $100 or something like that, chances are you would have sold long before it hit $60,000 and stuff like that. We'd like to believe that we would have held on this entire time, but chances are we would have jumped out a while ago. And you're right. That's what happens when you're in a coin. You start seeing gains because people, you take profits when you take profits. Everybody's situation is different, but you don't know the top. And of course, things technically appreciate over time. But when people have hit a certain number and they need the money or they're comfortable with that number, technically speaking, they're going to execute the order and exit the position because they start saying the risk to reward based off of my situation is no longer worth it. So so a lot of people are probably, long term can be different for everyone, but a lot of people are probably not going to see Doge's true potential. Some people will. Some people, I think, that have learned or have studied at least enough of the past to kind of be like, even if I do sell, I better hang on to some of these just because of the unknown unknowns. But historically, you're right. Yeah, people sell long before these coins reach their true potential. Dogecoin has a great community, and the richest man on the planet believing in Doge. Follow the cash people. Absolutely. If we do see $1 this year, do you think we will go well beyond that price immediately? It depends on why we got there. So even things like around like the Doge One mission and stuff like that, what we have to say is that, okay, like even if shorts back off, we know that the short position is never going to be zero, right? And we also know that people are going to jump into the coin because of its price point to trade it, right? That adds to the volatility and stuff like that. So once we have like these big catalysts coming up, something like a Doge One or something like that, a lot of people are going to jump into the coin. So you may see it pump leading up to the event, but they're just there for short-term profit. Technically speaking, when you get around round numbers, like $1, $1.50, or you're looking at the stock market and comparing it to like options or just traders in general, technically speaking, these points become sell-offs, right? So experienced investors, they'll say, okay, well, we're going to sell before then because we know technically you're expecting a pullback at a round number like $1. So they'll say, okay, at 94 cents or something like that, I'm going to sell off. 90 cents, 85 cents, these round numbers, you can see that's even indicative with options and stuff like that. You'll start to see price points where you'll see a pullback or a consolidation. Not to say that we can't blow by $1. This really just depends on why we're going there and the momentum, because obviously we've seen it last year. The momentum is overwhelming. We'll have like these short-term pullbacks, but then it'll just kind of like recover and keep going up. It's entirely possible, but historically speaking, just based off of not counting on hype and catalysts and stuff like that, technically speaking, at a round number or something like $1, you can probably expect a pullback at that point. Let's see. Price predictions for 2025. Um, 2025, because technically we're going to go through a full cycle. If we're going to have a recession, with some, like some of these indicators are suggesting, we will have more than likely went through the blunt part of it by then. So technically speaking, at that point, we'll be setting all-time highs in a lot of the top cryptos in the market and stuff as well, or at least we'll be in the trend to of the next bull run. So at that point, especially now with the catalyst stuff that we're going, I can certainly say that we'll be over $1. It's hard to say what range just yet, but just because I don't know where in the cycle we'll be. But I do believe at that point we'll be over $1. I can say that with confidence. Let's see. Is Marcus planning a Doge ecosystem for his future, as we see Sheeb doing? Maybe. Let's see. Doge is going to be $2 in 2025. Learn I can just buy more before the pump. People just not able to jump back in because they spend the money. I got rid of both my girlfriends just so I can save and buy more Dogecoin before it takes off. Wow, that's commitment. That's commitment. No one knows the future of crypto. A lot of coins have the potential to skyrocket. So does Doge. That's right. A lot of people are tired of waiting. Will sell. Trust me. Yeah, no, there's a lot of people that are down, like that didn't have the ability to average down. And you're right. Everybody, because at some point, because I know it's popular, and I've said this a while ago. I used to say it all the time on my channel. I know it's popular to say, diamond hands, and I'm never going to sell, and long term and stuff like that. But at some point, don't sell. Diamond hands turns into don't sell before I do. And you'll have these people that have, maybe actually need the money, or you'll say that, okay, this is obviously another sell-off, and I'm not prepared to wait another year or two. At this time, I'm going to sell and buy at the bottom, and you'll see greater numbers of people exiting their position. So, I always say that, and I don't offer financial advice. Do what's best for your household, but the best thing you can do is kind of like learn the cycle so that you're kind of prepared and kind of know what to expect. But technically speaking, on the second time around, people are more accustomed to trends and stuff like that. So you may see a different reaction compared to the first time. You may see a lot more people say, I'm going to sell and buy at the bottom versus hold and try and average down again. Now, technically on the second cycle, you'll see it shouldn't consolidate down to its previous levels. So at that point, you'll just set a higher low. But for the people, or that's not even in Dogecoin yet, they'll be in the same situation, obviously just at higher numbers. So you can kind of see the cycle just repeat. Doge will get to the point where people are going to be bragging about having an average of 50 to 70 cents. Yep, that's literally what I was just saying. Absolutely. After the cycle resets, you typically have your higher lows. Absolutely. Yeah, on Bookmap, I can see a big sell order at $1, but you never know. Yeah, there'll be a lot of liquidity at that range, and you'll see a lot of people take positions or profits around there. Because again, it depends on why we got there, and we'll kind of have to gauge it, like you said. But technically speaking, around those even marks, people typically are getting out of there. Okay, thank you, Carlos. I appreciate you. On SpaceX website, the Doge mission is June 1st. Okay, there we go. We got some confirmation. See any chance of Doge hitting $1 this year? I mean, the odds are never zero, right? But I think that a lot of the issues, even overall in the market, we're going to have to see some of the macro events addressed, and I think that yes, Dogecoin is probably more than likely consolidated below its overall like normal or at least equilibrium without it being interference or manipulation. But we're going to have to say, but we start to look at the macros of the market here and say that, okay, will this amount of money flow into Doge? Now, unless we just had some huge catalyst and we're able to break away from the cycle of the market overall, then I would say without the macros being addressed, it'll be unlikely, but it's not impossible because we don't know what how they're going to address some of the macros. If we go to war and they start QE back up, then we may just take off again into another bull run. We don't know. So it's just something we kind of have to keep an eye on. But I do believe the next, especially with interest rates, this 0.5% that's lingering, the inverted yield curve, I do think the next 30 to 60 days are going to pretty much be a great indicator for what the next 12 months are going to look like. Let's see. Sorry, my chat's just refreshing. I highly doubt Doge hit $1.80 on a bull run before shorts come in and put that fire out. I love to hold for 2 to 3 years at the same time. There's things I want and desire to have them far outweigh the desire for money. Yeah, no, we're going to have shorts are not going to go anywhere in the market unless some type of regulation or something comes in. That's something we're going to have to deal with as any company, crypto has to. But the thing is, as the coin appreciates and as the price goes up, it becomes more expensive to short or take positions in the coin overall. So, and I compared it the other night on a live and saying that, okay, at Dogecoin's price, it would be the equivalent of something like a penny stock. And the lower the price of an asset, the more likely there is to be manipulation into it, and more likely for them to have a high amount of traders, pump and dump, stuff like that. So it's just something we're going to have to watch for while Doge is at these current prices. But over time, and as we build catalysts and stuff like that, then it'll be a lot harder for them to do so. Any news on the Doge Ethereum bridge? I haven't heard anything. That's something I got to kind of touch up on. I haven't heard anything recently. We should remove our coins from exchanges and use hard wallets DEX only against the shorts. Yeah, no, I do believe that. I think that especially for people, if as many people are long as they say they are, I do believe that people should have most of their coins on hard wallets instead of exchanges. I said that I think a while ago when I did my wallet review, but yeah, I do agree with that. If you're long, then it certainly shouldn't be on exchange for a number of reasons, not just shorts, for a number of reasons. But I do believe that would be beneficial in more ways than one. So thanks, David Love from India, one of the best channels on YouTube for Doge. Thank you. I appreciate you. Let's see, I just got into crypto last year when I saw a crypto Visa commercial and been learning about blockchain, etc. Doge will become something crazy just because of Elon. And if the moon mission is good, yeah, I think that Elon in general, because I don't think we've seen the best of Tesla or a lot of the projects that Elon is on. And I think that the fact that he's moving and acquiring new companies and still putting Doge at the forefront of that, I think this is absolutely incredible. I think that Doge is going to pretty much expand overall with his vision and acquisition of companies. So I do believe Doge is going to be something really, really crazy. When we look back 5 to 10 years from now, we're going to be like, we can't believe this thing was, pennies. Let's see. I've seen a couple of glitches on Voyager of Dogecoin and it shows the price of $70. Didn't happen only once, and always the same number shows up. Fingers crossed, $70 in a few years. Oh, I didn't hear about the glitches to 70. Not hear about that. The psychology of crypto is funny. Yeah, it's kind of like I want to say it mirrors the stock market. It's not the same because obviously crypto swings a lot more just because it doesn't have as much money into it, as much people holding. But the psychology is very, very similar. So it's similar, but it's certainly more emotional. I can say that. Let's see. I believe they're waiting for most of us to drop off due to scare tactics. Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, if we're going to see a breakdown in the market, potentially like a recession and stuff like that, we're going to see a lot of pump and dumps in the market because they're going to try and raise as much money as possible beforehand. So that's one of the tactics that they use is they'll pump the market up, attract new money, sell from underneath them. Pump the market up, make you think, oh my God, this is it. This is the next bull run, all-time high incoming. New money comes in, pull the rug from underneath them. Like that's one of the ways that they raise money very quickly before we have a big downtrend in the market. One of the oldest tricks in the books. What's your opinion on Elon buying into Twitter and your expectations if or how he implements Doge? I think that pretty much what he said is probably as far as for using Doge for payments and stuff like that on Twitter, whether that be for like tipping and stuff like that. I think that that will be the avenue that he goes. And I think that that would be just phenomenal as well, just to have Doge being implemented on one of the largest platforms because ultimately it's not that crypto or people these large institutions are unaware of crypto. It's just that it's still relatively new and there's going to be some trial and error as far as sort of what coin is going to be emerge itself as literally the people's coin, what coin is going to be used online as be like the internet currency basically. And as we build these cases, as we get these partnerships with different businesses, if we're able to get Dogecoin used on Twitter and stuff like that, we're going to build the case to have Dogecoin at the forefront of this movement, so that it's not just Twitter or Instagram. It's not just Twitter. We can move to like an Instagram, YouTube, Facebook. They'll say, hey, look, people in massive numbers obviously support Dogecoin. Dogecoin is being used a lot more for these transactions than Bitcoin or any other coin. So we pretty much are forcing them in a position by popular demand that if they're going to offer any type of crypto payment, they're going to have to incorporate Dogecoin just based off of the numbers. And I think ultimately that's where we're going, because even with Doge being used on Twitter, you're just really adding credibility, and you can call it like a giant marketing campaign as well. That only helps Dogecoin. So I'm grateful for the opportunity. I'm grateful for even just Elon really being at the forefront of Doge, and I have no issues with him buying into Twitter. So if you can, why not? And if he wants to make adjustments, whether that be for freedom of speech or with Doge, that's certainly within his realm, and I'm sure he'll have a massive amount of influence on the board. So I have no issues with Elon buying into Twitter at all. Let's see. Damn, I butchered that word, and he pointed out on the big screen. I thought I got away with it. That's all good. It's all good. Do you think the brain supply of Dogecoin would be beneficial to us all? I mean, short-term price action, yeah. Obviously, if you have the same amount of money into something and less of it, obviously the remaining ones would increase in value. But from what I understand, that's not the move of or the intention of Dogecoin right now. So the intention of it would be for it to be a currency, and as of right now, there's no plan to burn. But as far as the beneficial, I'm assuming you mean financially or like an immediate financial return. So mathematically speaking, supply and demand wise, absolutely, that would be beneficial to the ones who are currently holding if there were less Doge on the market. But as far as the Doge being used as a currency and getting its value based off of usage, that would kind of contradict with that, because depending on how much we burn, that would technically give it more of like a scarcity value. So it'd be something, a metric that Bitcoin uses more to determine its value based off of the rarity of it and the amount of revenue in it versus actual usage. So to answer your question, yes, but I just don't think that it was going to happen, or at least not right now. I agree, Deborah. Thank you. Love your show, David. You and Matt are the shiznit. Cocksucker. Thank you. I appreciate you. What's your price target for Dogecoin at the end of the year? Um, the jury's still out on that for me just yet because um, I, I was waiting on the initial rate increase from the Feds as far as for April, and then they came out with that weak 0.25%, and now they're trying to chat about the 0.5% to kind of price it in the market before they end up doing it because they know that they're going to have to be more aggressive with inflation. Of course, now we have the inverted yield curve as well. It's a lot of macro stuff out there right now that's kind of throwing me off as far as for short-term price action, which is why I come on here and chart like day by day, and I make sure I mention that this is short-term price action. But I would like to, if we are able to get things under control, I would like to see us challenge some of those previous resistance levels. But it's really just we're going to have to kind of just keep our ear to the ground over like the next month or so. I think that's pretty much going to indicate pretty much probably for the next 12 months what kind of year we're going to have. These interest rate hikes and what the inverted yield curve is stating. Because if we have a lot of the money, massive amounts of money that are more bullish short term than they are long term, this is going to result in a constriction, and this will make the normal prediction of an inverted yield curve to indicate there's going to be a recession here in the next half year to a year or so. So as of right now, I don't have anything concrete to say that to expect for the end of the year, but I would like to see us challenge our all-time high. But as of right now, I can't say that with any certainty. How do you feel about Richard Hart and Hex? I've had a few people on here that have spoken to me about Hex. I've done some research on it. I need to actually finalize that because some people have reached out as far as for me doing like an interview with Richard and stuff like that. I've watched some of his other interviews. I haven't made a decision either way just yet, but I do find some of the components interesting. I'll say that, but I haven't made a decision either way about Richard or Hex just yet. But I've watched some of his other interviews and I've done some of my research on my own, and I may sit down with him just to kind of like go over things and stuff like that because I believe that Elon's probably going to make some changes overall to our blockchain at some point. So I'd like looking at different like blockchains and stuff like that to kind of see, how they work. Because I know that Elon has spoke to some of the devs at least last year. I don't know about recently, but I know last year he stated that he had spoken to some of the devs. So we don't know what the changes are. So I kind of like to keep an open mind and look at other coins and stuff like that. So I may very well sit down with him and pick his brain. But as of right now, I don't have any. I'll just say I'm neutral. Okay. Let's see. This is John Glenn using my brother's account. Did you know wash sales on crypto are allowed? This could save our Doge community money. Can you explain wash sales? Example, the guy, 800K. I'm assuming like the wash rule as far as for selling and buying back into a coin. I'm assuming, I guess you can clarify that in the comment section. I'm assuming you mean like the wash rule, like where pretty much like the waiting period where you would sell and you have to wait. Like typically you have to wait until you can buy back into the coin if you're selling for like tax purposes and stuff like that, or to purposely take like a loss so that you can defer taxes and stuff like that. You can clarify that in chat, but if that's what you're referring to. Burning Dogecoin would ruin the coin. Yeah, yes, at least the coin as we know it. Yeah, absolutely. Because that's technically not the purpose of the coin. So yeah, that would change the dynamics of the coin overall. So we'd have to kind of like reassess ourselves, because if we burn enough coins and people are holding it, then at some point utility doesn't even matter anymore. The only reason that utility is a big deal is because of the inflation rate and the amount of coins that they are. But if you just say, okay, we're going to take out 80% of the coins or something like that, then you can just kind of, thrive on value based off of, scarcity. It's like a Bitcoin. So yeah, it would certainly change the dynamics of the coin. Let's see, I got into Doge at 11 cent and for about 7,000 in coins. Once they finally announced the recession, should I profit, take, or hold? Um, that's certainly along the lines of financial advice. That's certainly up to you. I'd say just decide if you're going to be long term or not, or if you need the money, or if you made what you come to make in the coin, or if you have other assets you want to invest into. It's ultimately what you have to decide. Some people can hold for 5 years, 10 years, something like that. Some people may need the money in the next 12 months. Everyone's case is unique. Even in the recession, depending on how bad it is and where liquidity gets pulled from, we could certainly see a correction, a steep correction in the market. A lot of it's already happened. It just pretty much we retest some of those lower levels and probably go down to like the next level of support, depending on consumer demand at that point. Because obviously, if it's viewed as oversold or something like that, buying pressure could kind of cushion some of those corrections. But overall, if you're happy with your price point and you want to move the money to somewhere else, ultimately that's up to you. Timing a recession, timing how long we're going to be in the recession, the next bull run and stuff like that. That's something that you kind of have to do case by case, and you're going to have to do it on a more of a short-term time frame. So that's a bit of a personal question that I can't answer directly without knowing your complete situation. But I hope that provides like some clarity. But that's ultimately you're gonna have to make some decisions as far as like on the amount of profit that you want to take and how long you're willing to wait, because we have no idea. If we go into a recession, you have no idea when a recession is going to turn around, when the next bull market's going to be. You either say, okay, am I in position to hold through this? That's ultimately what you're going to have to decide. Okay, so I'm around like 37 minutes now. Just by the way, if you haven't yet, if you like anything I had to say, make sure you give the video a like, share the video with a friend, subscribe to the channel if you want to hear more from me. I don't want to I'm 37 minutes now. So I'm going to go ahead and conclude there. I finished up some of my extra projects, so I'll be going live and doing videos daily again. I just wanted to knock some things out. So definitely, if you haven't yet, subscribe to the channel and turn your notifications on so you'll hear more from me. I typically like to post between like 7 and 9 p.m., but if your notifications are on, you'll know. And just check the community section as well. So yeah, definitely hit the like button. Thank you, Kyle. I appreciate all of you guys for tuning in with me this Sunday. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you, and until next time.